the types of mechanisms I believe that Iran would require in any kind of agreement are basically impossible to put into place. That's just my
There
judgment
are
of it.
rules for thee, but not for me. And let's not forget that America, Trump withdrew America from the IAEA in 2018, right? And this is what the whole qualm is about: the idea that Iran is not become is not adhering to what to the IAEA, but it's
It's the
ridiculous.
JCPOA agreement that he withdrew from in 2018.
Didn't he
No,
withdraw
pardon me?
from the IAEA completely?
That I'm not aware of.
Hey, just a
I
heads
read
up.
this somewhere.
Iran said that Iran mission to UN said Iran does not negotiate under duress, and we shall not accept peace under duress. And this was after the plane landed.
I mean, I've said this before, but Trump
Good
is
on them.
fronting. He's not going to do anything.
Yeah, and I mean, on top of that, like, look, history has taught us throughout all of the interactions between the U.S. and Iran is that if you want to not reach an agreement with Iran, what you do is you put across your demands as though they're threats or as you are their masters, and they will automatically reject it. Somebody mentioned it earlier. I believe it was Hassan who was here a little earlier, and the concept of dignity in Islam is extremely important. So, I mean, you listen to Hamas, you listen to Hezbollah, you listen to any actual Muslim freedom fighter or resistance fighter, they will always appeal to dignity. We will rather die than live without dignity. So that's what I believe Hassan earlier meant when he said Iran will refuse to bend the knee. And I very much agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know entirely where this entire thing is going to lead, but I doubt we'll see any. I doubt we'll see any agreement under this framework where Trump gets to look as though he has forced Iran into anything.
Yeah, I should have wrote down before I left the key points from his speech today. Well, it was last night, but earlier today for them. It was exactly what he said. He was like, "We're not going to basically, do it. We wouldn't cave for peace, and we wouldn't cave from force or something like that." It was something really interesting, but I didn't write it down. You know what I'm talking about, Abu? I think you hit on it. But but yeah, if you guys want to just kind of chop it up, there's no hands, so we can just do open mic for now. Daniel, did you want to chime in on
I
anything?
got some numbers to report real quick. So this is
Oh,
from the Israel's tax authority, because of course Israel tries to deny its damages or minimize it. So this is from based on the number of compensation requests they've received. It's at 18,766 requests for compensation, including 15,861 for building damage, and 1,272 for vehicles, and 1,633 for other property damage. And over 94 people have been hospitalized, since last night in Israel. Now, I wouldn't doubt that there could be some phony claims in there. I wouldn't put it past the Jews to lie, but I mean, if the insurance companies are doing those jobs, those ones will get shut down right away. But you can't. I mean, that's just yet more evidence, because the Jews always lie, and there's a full media blackout that the Jews are suffering. The Israeli state's incurring some heavy losses that they're trying to cover up.
See, Truth, it's
The
beautiful that
thing
you
I
mentioned
find,
this
sorry,
specifically when it comes to the tax authorities. I can post it a little bit later in the pill, but there's a diagram over how the entire Hasbara operation apparatus is built and constructed in Israel, and all of it reports up to Netanyahu's prime minister's office. However, agencies such as the tax agency and other ministries do not report that way. So if you want to go and get actual indicators, you do exactly what Truth did. You go to the tax authorities, you go to various authorities because they do not have to get on script with Netanyahu before they publish. Super important.
that's a really good point. And as well, I mean, 100% of the population, unless you're Arab or a non-Jewish, have bunker protection. which means when Iran, it'd be the perfect time is to take out all the industry, infrastructure, not water, like the NATO doctrine, where you take out all the water and sewage facilities.
Some more breaking news.
You go for
just 1 second, bro.
Sorry,
Just more breaking news. Just from the same press conference, some more questions were asked of Trump. The tweets in the Nest. Well, it's going to be in the Nest in a few seconds, but basically, 1 second. Here we go. Trump and he said Trump. Well, the headline says just in Trump and Netanyahu speak every day. He said Trump says he speaks to Netanyahu every day and told him to keep going. Let me just play this.
I can't stand hearing this.
Some of what you told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
He said about him, good man. He's unfairly. Oh, sorry. He said about Netanyahu that he's a good man. He's unfairly treated by his country.
All right, Sharif, I was just playing the video.
Sharif, do you not hear him playing the video?
Oh, sorry, I didn't. My bad.
That's classic Sharif. Should I play it? Was the quality good? It
was good. Great. It was actually really good. I was shocked, actually.
Yeah, we could hear it.
All right, just Sharif being Sharif, bro. Okay, let me play again.
President, can you share some of what you told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
So keep going. What do I say? You speak to him every day. He's a good man, doing a lot. Been very unfairly treated by his country, I think. Very unfairly treated.
Have you given him an indication that you may seek to aid them more than you have already?
No. So far, he's doing a good job. He has been treated very unfairly. You know, he's a wartime president and he's going through this nonsense. It's ridiculous. Sounds like you got a good meeting
with him. So, President, can you share some of
that's Trump literally telling everybody he's buddy with Netanyahu, the best mates. He's been treated unfairly, but he's not said anything about joining them in the war against Iran. So that's interesting. Seems to be like he's maybe be pulling back from that, and then that's just everyone on social media needs to give him a huge amount of credit because the pushback was good and it was significant, especially by a lot of his loyalists as well. Like, we pushed back significantly. We exposed the hypocrisy significantly, as did many others, but also a lot of his loyalists who we disagree with because they are Zionists, but who actually did push back. People like Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, Steve Bannon, all of them pushed back on going to war with Iran. So that was a good thing to see. And I think that's maybe been very beneficial. Everybody knows I've called out some of these people before in the past, but you have to give credit where credit is due. Back to you, Miss.
Awesomeness.
Khaleesi, didn't you want to jump in as well? Khaleesi, jump in. Okay, go ahead, Miss.
Okay, cool. So let's tap in with Didi. Welcome. Good morning. Didi, what you got?
Good morning, guys. Just wanted to give some breaking news. Israel reports 25 are now dead since the aggression started with Iran.
Awesome. It's probably more than that, isn't it? That's based on the extreme level of censorship and the fact that they're not letting the truth out. But yeah, the fact that they're admitting 25 is significant for them, for sure.
Suleiman,
Yeah,
how
'cause it's
credible?
usually like 3 or 7, you know. So this
usually,
means
yeah.
this number's more.
And I just also wanted to add today in the Gaza Strip, El Qassam Brigades, which is the army wing of Hamas, took out 2 Israeli IDF soldiers that were performing a mission in Gaza.
Suleiman, how credible is this Monitor X account? Do you know of it?
I don't know of it.
He's saying that Al Udeid Air Base has been, this was 5 minutes ago, has been mostly vacated with U.S. assets transferred to an unknown location. I don't know if this account is credible or not, though.
I did see that report though about a few hours ago. And I saw it from a few different sources, so likely that is true. But I just didn't post it because it was like, but yeah.
Hey guys, I'm in just for a short while, but I have been listening to the amazing
charge
space.
yourself.
What, Sharif? You know what? I'm back,
you charge yourself.
and I am ready to boot you for interrupting that breaking news that was just playing. Like seriously, no, I'm only joking. Okay, guys, listen. Do me a favor, please. If you've already shared the space, I'd like you all some of you have been with us all night. Like Maze held this down like a trooper. Do you see that guy that came up? I've got so much to say, but do you see that guy that came up and said, oh yeah, and Khaleesi, you're a fierce leader. And Maze, you got a lovely soft side. And I was like, I'm not really sure how to take that. Like, seriously, it's so funny. Brother Public, I hope you recharge your batteries. You held it down with me. Like Brother Public was about to go to sleep. I don't know when it was, a couple of days ago, yesterday, day before. And I was like, listen, get yourself out of bed. You need to get on the space with me. I can't see mic requests. And he was here right the way through. Didi, lovely to see you. Truth, absolute legend for the last couple of days. Brings the highs to this space where you literally have to stop your meal to come back to see if Truth has set it alight. But appreciate you being here. So I'd like everybody to do me a favor, please. Just go to the bottom. Some of you have been with us all the way through the 5 days. And where it says 1571, to the left of that, there's a little symbol, half a triangle. Please press that. And when you press that, the third option down is copy link. I'd like you to copy that link. I'd like you to take it, and I'd like you to put it like underneath at least 5 tweets of other accounts that you think would benefit from listening to this. And please invite them here. Also go to Suleiman's profile on his pin tweet, quote tweet that pin tweet. Let's get people in here. And guys, listen, I've got some breaking news, and then I've got a little message for some of you that were with us yesterday. So the breaking news in the nest is Iran responds to Trump's statements. Iran's mission to the United Nations in New York. This is what he said. No Iranian official has ever pleaded at the doors of the White House. The only thing more despicable than his lies is his cowardly threat to, and they put in quotation marks, eliminate Iran's supreme leader. Iran does not negotiate under threat, kudos to them, will not accept peace under coercion, they shouldn't, and we will certainly not negotiate with an outdated warmonger clinging to some relevance. Wow, bish, bash, bosh. Iran will respond to any threat with a counter threat and to any action with similar measure. I mean, like literally, I think that Iran is even winning in the statements thing.
Now I put the GIF, you know, the damn GIF. That's what that serves.
A little news
Sorry,
here
guys.
on
Abby,
the.
sorry, Daniel, just 1 second. So yeah, that was his statement. And sorry, I just had to mute my mic for 1 second. But it just goes to show that literally they are winning even in the war of statements. Literally, right?
Did she cut out?
I think so. Can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's reconnecting.
No, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. So yeah, they're winning in the war of words as well. And I really feel that they're winning in the war of words. Mace played that clip earlier. And when Mace played it, one of the things, right, in that clip, and if you haven't heard it, it's on Suleiman's profile, Trump is asked, what would you say to Iran if they wanted to, say, come to the table? He says, it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. And literally the next question is, would you be ready to negotiate? And he's like, well, it's too late. I don't know. It's too late. It's too late. And I'm thinking, make your freaking mind up. Is it too late or never too late? It's got to be one of the two. Like a complete contradiction within 30 seconds right there in his video statements. If anything is going to take the world to war, it's going to be President Trump's words. For anybody who thinks that America is not yet involved, think again. America is right on the front line of this. What Trump has said, Tehran, leave. Everybody should leave. He's actually called for the assassination of the supreme leader of Iran. He's allowing Israeli jets to be refueled by American, literally, this is American, military equipment that's refueling Israeli jets that are going to do the bombing. I'm sorry, but if I'm helping you bomb a country, I am equally as complicit. In my opinion, America's already involved, right? It's just that he hasn't made a statement yet. So there was that, and there was one thing I wanted to say to our listeners. So, Suleiman, I think you were away yesterday, or it's one of the times when you were just off taking a break. And so what we asked some of you to do, guys, is we said, think of another name for the Iron Dome and put it in the comments. And those comments blew up. Now, I am going to go through those. That space crashed, but the link is still there, and I did start going through some of them last night. In the just when I came off the space for a couple of hours, but we are still going to do that, and we are going to go through those. So don't think that that's just gone away. It hasn't gone away, and we will go through those. So thank you. That's what I wanted to say. Let me go to I go to Didi, and then Daniel. I know you were talking. I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Didi.
I have nothing right now, aside from needing to figure out how to get video to Suleiman. Truth mentioned it earlier. Really looks like something out of a movie. More Mossad agents are being found in Iran and being held accountable.
Yeah, I think you've just got to make sure that your videos are downloadable, and you just got to. It's the option, and I told you this yesterday. Remember privacy and security and videos?
Tried it. It just hates me, but I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah, I'll try to update the app. That'd be great. Thanks, Didi. And just jump in with any breaking news. Maze, of course, I can hear you just in the middle of something, but jump in anytime. I'm just going to give you a little short break, and then I'll be back. Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm seeing that a third aircraft carrier is being prepared to be deployed to CENTCOM region. I believe it's the USS Ford Carrier Strike Group. It's a scheduled deployment, they say. This is per CNN. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that I saw that other report that I mentioned to Suleiman that American bases seem to be evacuating to unknown locations. So that's all I had.
Thanks,
Oh,
Daniel. Guys, there's a tweet in the just 1 second, guys. Just a tweet in the nest. Thomas Massey on war with Iran. This is the statement he made. He said, "Most Americans do not support U.S. involvement in Israel's war against Iran," and he's right. It is Israel's war against Iran. I love Thomas Massey. He doesn't mince his words. It's not a conflict. It's Israel's war against Iran, which begs the question: why doesn't more of Congress oppose it? Question mark. Literally no one campaigned on another war in the Middle East. Now, this is a really deep statement, guys. He's saying nobody campaigned for another war in the Middle East, but now that it's on the verge of it, everybody's quiet. Why don't more of Congress oppose it? He's asking you to think the answer to that, and we know the answer to that, right? Frigging blackmail, bribery, coercion, the lot. The whole shebang is why they're not opposing it, even though they didn't campaign on it. Jump in. Did you have some breaking news?
Quick update. Remember the Weizmann Institute that was completely leveled? That's where a lot of Israeli scientists carry out various types of experiments. I believe they do some chemical warfare as well. Well, those labs have been completely destroyed, and there were some casualties there, though Israel's not confirming that. 3 of the nuclear scientists, though, have been killed. I'm not sure if it was in that building. But I just want to provide an update on that Weizmann Institute, because it was a big deal that it's been leveled, because that directly contributed towards the genocide in Gaza.
Yeah, thanks for that, Truth. And Truth as well. Any news, any breaking news? Just jump in. I'm still thinking about this statement from the Iranian ambassador to the United Nations. Iran. What did he call Trump? Let me just read that again. He said. Outdated warmonger clinging to some relevance. Or maybe that was about Netanyahu, actually. Or maybe it's about both. I don't know. Could be both. So sorry, who was going to jump in before when I was just about to read the breaking news? Someone was going to jump in?
yeah, that was me. I was just going to say I'm seeing video footage, reportedly showing the power plant in Haifa burning following the Iran strikes. Suleiman, I DM'd it to you. It's from this Monitor X account. I don't know if it's real or not, but if it is, it's crazy.
Can you, Daniel, can you send that to Suleiman, and his team will pick it up?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. They'll have a look at it. Thank you. Didi, your hands up. Do you have breaking news?
No, I think I'm glitched out. I see Abu Sita and Abu Wednesday, and mine's not up. Here, let me put just make sure.
Just click it off, yeah. Okay, I was gone back up. Never mind. Yeah, it's gone down now. Thanks. So I don't know who's going to speak next. Abu Sita, go ahead, and then we'll go to Abu Wednesday.
Yeah, so every talking head on TV right now is pushing this idea that cooler heads are going to prevail and diplomacy is going to find a way. They're talking about back channel negotiations and this managed de-escalation talk. It's complete fantasy, and the war faction in the United States. They painted the United States into a corner. Their public demands towards Iran are absolutely insane. Iran has to give up their nuclear program, dismantle their entire missile arsenal, and basically stop being a regional power. That's not negotiating terms. That's unconditional surrender, like Trump tweeted out. And meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader just called Trump a has-been warmonger and said they're not going to negotiate under duress. And their UN mission doubled down today. So think about this for a second. Iran's entire government's legitimacy is built on resistance to American imperialism. Literally, their entire country, the regime's built on resistance to American imperialism. If they cave now, their own people will overthrow them. They literally cannot accept U.S. terms and survive politically. So you've got one side demanding total victory and the other side saying they'd rather die than surrender. And where's the compromise supposed to come from? What are they thinking here? And the really terrifying part is, while neither side can end the war, both sides can't continue it either. We're in a completely impossible situation. Israel, the Iranian hypersonic missiles that took out the Haifa refinery, that facility processes literally a huge chunk of Israel's energy needs, and it's going to be offline for a month at the minimum. And that's not it. Israel's burning through missile interceptors faster than they can make them. Each Iron Dome interceptor costs $50,000. Each David Sling interceptor costs $1 million. They're firing these things by the hundreds. And the Wall Street Journal just reported they're running dangerously low. And Washington's falling apart. Trump doesn't have Congress behind him. Schumer asked for an immediate brief on the situation between Israel and Iran, and Israel just cut off gas supplies to Egypt and Jordan, two allies, creating an energy crisis that's threatening their governments. So, America has to choose between supporting Israel and keeping the region stable. And this is the part that should keep you up at night. The Wall Street Journal reported that Israel is running low on interceptors. Think about what that means. Their entire defensive strategy is based on shooting down missiles, and they're running out of bullets. So where we are is that nobody can win, nobody can lose, and nobody can quit it. It's like being trapped in a burning building. So, yeah, I think whatever happens next is going to be really interesting to see. I don't think the Iranians are going to negotiate a full, giving up their entire defensive nature of their country. I think we're going to see it go on for another 2 weeks and then come to some type of diplomatic solution, because it's a really tough political situation right now.
Yeah, some golden points there. Thanks for that. So Simon was in here this morning earlier, and according to him, financially, like in terms of from a monetary perspective, this can only last 12 days. 12 days. So your 2-week thing that you said sounds about right. One thing I will say is, when you said that on the one side, you described the two sides, literally on October the 7th or October the 8th, we said they'll never win this. Israel wouldn't have won the genocide, because the only way he would win is if he killed every single person in Gaza, which obviously he's trying to. But even then, the thought of resistance stays in people's minds, especially when they have endured over decades, and they've seen their generations and their families endure over decades what the Palestinians have. And you cannot get rid of the idea of resistance. And they've got nothing to lose. None of these people have got anything to lose. They believe that this is a greater cause for them. And just the one thing I'll say is about winning. You said neither side will win. Iran doesn't want to win. There's nothing. Iran didn't start this. Iran wants to go about its business, mind its own business, get on with its life. It's America and Israel that see this as a win-lose. We need to win. And for America, the assassination of Khamenei is what they want to show victory. For Iran, they haven't even said what's victory. They're just talking about, do not attack us. We will defend you. We're not going to back down because this is too much. We gave you a lot of leeway before, but stop attacking us. They're not even looking to win as in the Western sense. Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference. It's not an equal conflict.
100%. I feel like winning winning for Israel is a totally different thing than winning for Iran. Winning for Israel means total regime change in a country the size of Iran. Winning for Iran is just deterring further action from Israel and remaining a regional power. They're trying to knock them out of this of the regional power spot. And winning for the Israelis is a far greater feat than what winning would look like for the Iranians. For example, in Gaza, Hamas, as ruthless as this is, for Hamas to win, they just have to survive. They don't have to militarily defeat Israel. Winning is just Hamas surviving. Winning for Iran is teaching the Israelis a lesson that they're not going to go unchecked in the region. And I feel like for the next 50 years of diplomacy and geopolitics in that region, Iran has to, show a decisive and clear deterrence against this Israeli aggression, because if not, then we're just going to see this spark up again. There has to be a permanent solution to this, because we can't have 50 years of Cold War between Iran and Israel again. There's going to be some type of permanent solution after this for sure. The world can't tolerate this.
Yeah, Abu Sita, you know what? I firmly believe that if Israel said today and America said today, if Trump stood outside the White House in an hour and said, listen, I've got my instructions from my master and leader, Netanyahu, and he told me that neither of us are actually going to get involved and smash Iran anymore, there'd be nothing the day after tomorrow. Iran would not lift a finger. Iran would completely back down. Iran is resisting. Iran is not the offensive, right? It's on the defensive. And so if it's on the defensive, it would stop defending. But unfortunately, Netanyahu's not giving those instructions to Trump, so we'll see. Didi, jump in, and then I'll come to you, Abu Wednesday.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, completely agree. There's two, and they're both Chevron run energy facilities that Israel shut down. I also wanted to bring up President of the Supreme Political Council of Yemen, Mahdi al-Mashat. Our operations in support of Gaza will not stop, no matter the sacrifices, until the Israeli aggression ends and the siege on Gaza is lifted. Also, really quickly, hold on, where did I have it? Yes, he's 100% right. That Wall Street Journal article, really golden in terms of what they're saying. And Khaleesi, I think you might have been asleep or away. Now they're offering $165 to any family that's been displaced in Israel. They're running out of money. They are running out of money. They cannot sustain this. Also, I think they're trying to open up a front, or something's going on in Lebanon. Sheba Farms is reporting artillery shelling. Today, also, there was a strike from a drone on somebody that was on a motorcycle. I think 3 people have been killed in Lebanon. Something's going on in Lebanon, too, that I'm closely watching.
Yeah, thanks, Didi. I did hear that this morning. I was just trying to take some time out because we've been running these back to back, so we just need to recharge our batteries, but we're always listening. I know Maze is listening. I know Suleiman's listening right now as well. Just have it on in the background. But it's interesting, actually. And yesterday, let me just go through the breaking news, guys, quickly. So 2 Iranian government, it's in the nest, 2 Iranian government planes have departed from Iran and are heading towards Oman. They are heading towards Oman. And the question is that for negotiation? And then the other one is the USS Ford aircraft carrier group will deploy to Europe next week, placing a 3rd US carrier near the Israel-Iran conflict. Of course, like taxpayers' money is going all out. And the 3rd one is footage shows a police chase on the Qom-Tehran highway where a Mossad agent carrying explosives in a pickup truck was successfully captured. Yeah. So that's the news, guys. Please share it. Please retweet it. It was funny yesterday, actually, because we were talking about false flags, and you said, Didi, you said that, I wonder if it's going to be something, and I don't know, something we were talking about made us think at the American base, and you said that's the only thing it could be, and we discussed that for a while. And literally, you glitched out. And because I don't know, like you dropped, there was a lot of dropping on the space yesterday, wasn't there? Especially in case you kept glitching out, both of you, and coming back up. And in the moment you glitched out, it's probably because Brother Public was co-hosting. But anyway, in the moment you glitched out, I literally wanted to tell you that there was a statement that came out, and I think it was from the White House. I think it might have been from Trump, but I'm not sure, saying, oh, we're going to protect our military bases, Americans on the military bases. And I thought, this is it. This could be it. Literally, this could be it. So let's wait and see and monitor that situation. I go to Abu Wednesday and I come right back up to you, Daniel. Go ahead, Abu.
I'm completely sorry. I actually lost my train of thought. I was going to respond to something that Abu Sitza went up. So he has his hands up. If he wants to go back on it, maybe I'll remember what I wanted to add.
Okay, let me go to Casey and then Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Khaleesi, because I wanted to ask actually Didi a question, and not to like put this on. You said you're checking on stuff in Lebanon. I don't know where these places are located in Lebanon. Is it South Lebanon or like?
Yeah, so it's actually Sheba Farms. It's actually still occupied by Israel, believe it or not, and has been. A lot of people don't know that part of Lebanon, and I don't mean you, Casey, you're very well informed, but there's a lot of people in here maybe that are just tuning in. They actually don't know that Israel still occupies parts of Lebanon. So that's where it is.
And thank you.
Casey,
thank you.
You'll remember this, Casey, right after October the 7th, and those freaking Zios on Mario Space were crying that, oh my God, you know what? We were struck. Hezbollah, attacked Israel first. That's why we've had to attack Hezbollah. And we were on there saying it's Sheba frigging Farms. It ain't Israel. It's Lebanon that was hit. Do you know what I mean? It ain't Israel. So shut up. So yeah, Daniel, jump in. Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, thanks. I mentioned that U.S. support for this war, and when I say U.S., I mean the people, is very low, and it's sort of representative of the fact that Congress, who is supposed to be like the lawyers for the people, they're all lawyers, right? They're supposed to represent us. Don't represent us at all. And that is evident in the fact that there's like almost zero pushback. There's over 550 members, I think around 550 members of Congress. And there's like 8 that drew up a resolution to stop any military intervention or any participation in this war. And I mean, 8 out of 550. I'm not a mathematician, but that's like just below 1/100th of people of the United States actually being represented by their representatives. Air quotes. I put the word representatives in air quotes because they don't represent us at all. I mean, Thomas Massie is one of the few who speaks his truth and the truth of his constituents, no matter what. Even if it means the president calls for him to be voted out of office, he doesn't care. I think it's kind of cool that he follows me. I love him for that. I followed him, and he followed me back on both of his accounts. And he pays attention to what people are saying on this app and cares about what his constituents think, unlike the rest of them.
Yeah, do you know what, Daniel? I think you made a golden point, and I want to respond to you. Let me just read some news in the Nest. Just in, guys, the tweets in the Nest. It's Trump speaking. Reporter, is the U.S. moving closer to striking Iran's nuclear facilities? And Trump says, do you seriously think I'm going to answer that? Sir, will you strike it? Will you please inform us when we can be there? Watch, I may do it, I may not do it. So this is in the Nest. I think that's the clip that was played earlier by Suleiman. Daniel, you make a really good point. And I do this often on the space because we talk about America a lot. But I'll often just refer back to the UK because when we talk about America, America is literally the leader when it comes to the UK-USA relationship. We will do whatever America does. So it's not a criticism of America, the country. We love America. It's not a criticism of the people. It's of the politicians, right? So you have made a sterling point in terms of the number of people that signed that letter, and I will give you a comparison right here in the UK. We've got in England, right, not including Scotland or anything else, in England we've got 650 members of parliament, and then add on Scotland and add on Wales and stuff, right? And when the Ukraine-Russia conflict was going to kick off, the night before, 11 members of parliament signed a letter, and it was called Stop the War. That's what it was called. They didn't mention Putin. They didn't mention like Russia. They didn't mention Ukraine. So they weren't taking a position on it. They were just saying, stop the war. And do you know what happened? They were told, these are members of parliament, that they would be suspended if within 24 hours they did not rescind that statement, because this country was going to go to war and get involved with Russia and Ukraine, and it didn't matter what. And they had to, because otherwise they couldn't represent their people. So Daniel, this is like, if you listen to Professor David Miller, Suleiman's interviewed him a few times. He says that it's not just like an America problem, it's a Zionism problem, and Zionism has to be dismantled globally. But yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks. I think just on a basic level that the main problem is that they're all lawyers. Lawyers are liars. You guys have probably seen that movie Liar, Liar. It's all about that concept that if
You've
you're a
heard the
lawyer,
expression, Daniel, liar for hire.
there you go. And so, like, why aren't regular people, laymen or just businessmen or people that aren't fucking lawyers, part of my language, running for Congress and getting elected? Well, I'd say it's because nobody gets held accountable. So good people don't want to run because the bad people never suffer any consequences. There are citizens who go to jail and prison. I'm not going to go on a rant, but for things that these congressmen and women get away with every day. We would be crucified if we did 1/10 of what they did. So with the one thing that's very disappointing for many of Trump's supporters and people that voted for him is he hasn't arrested one high-profile individual. Nobody's going to jail. He ran both times on lock them up and drain the swamp, and he's not fucking doing that at all, not even a little bit. So that's the only way that things will change, in my opinion, and we'll get real representation. We need like plumbers and electricians in there, people with common sense who are honest.
Yeah, totally agree. Thanks for that, Daniel. I appreciate that. Guys, I can't see all the hands. I can see Abusita, so jump in, Abusita.
Hey, yeah, so I just wanted to add in a little bit more of a market element to my analysis. I think it's important to get a more accurate picture of what's going on. So this morning started exactly like the neocons wanted it to. Brent crude jumped up 4.5%. Defense contractor stocks ticked up. A wave of kind of concern rippled through the financial markets worldwide. And I know 4.5% isn't exactly panic in the markets, but it's more like the market's getting nervous and pricing in some extra risk. And it wasn't an accident. It was part of the plan. The neocons don't just want shock and awe in Iran and on the battlefield. They need it in the markets too. They need that fear to build into real panic, and they need the global financial crisis, because when the markets are screaming, governments start throwing money at military solutions. It's just been the way it is for decades. And for a few beautiful hours, if you're a war hawk, the market was pricing in their favor, and traders were betting on escalation, World War III, everything that they've been dreaming about for years. But then something happened. The containment faction, they didn't hold a press conference. They didn't tweet. They just started doing math. And the OPEC Plus reality is that OPEC Plus has about 5.5 million barrels a day of spare capacity just sitting there. And what that means is Iran, even at peak production, only pumps 3.3 million barrels. So the markets basically suddenly realized, hey, even if Iran's completely wiped off the face of the earth tomorrow, we can replace its oil. And the panic started deflating. And then came the real power move. So the United States, 11.5 million barrels drop in U.S. crude inventories. They're basically flooding the markets with their crude oil to calm everybody's nerves of some type of oil shortage in the Strait of Hormuz. And they pretty much just dumped an American strategic oil into the world markets and put out that fire. And the Iranian hypersonic missiles took out Israel's biggest refinery. you know, and oil's sitting in the mid to high $70 range. After all that chaos, all the explosions, all the drama, we're looking at maybe a $5 to $10 geopolitical risk premium. We'd see something more like $150 a barrel or $200 a barrel if it was a real kind of global catastrophe going on. So that's just a little bit more insight into how like the markets are looking at this. They're cautiously working around it. There's no real panic yet, so that might be saying something.
I just kind of think that just real quick, Maze, you there? Okay, just real quick, let me just respond to Abu, and then I'm gonna bring it right back to you, Abu Wednesday. I just think they move differently a little bit now, but don't quote me. I am not an expert on these things. If it was something medical, I could give you all the answers. But I think they move a little differently nowadays on this stuff. I just don't think it's as predictable like it was before, and I think that's on purpose. But in a time like this, but I could be wrong. Abu Wednesday, you were gonna say something?
I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back.
actually, I
right,
recalled what I was going to say with regards to Abhisita's analysis earlier with regards to what does winning look like for either side here. And I think there's an important element that's not being duly considered. So if you look at what's been going on for the past few years with Russia, Ukraine, and this is connected, I promise, Europe has basically been getting its ass handed to it. The USA has not been able to win its proxy war or degrade Russia to the point that it wants to. And now I'm pretty sure the reason why we're seeing all of the NATO hyenas coming out and declaring fealty to Israel and that they're going to jump in is because they have to produce some sort of win. And for that reason, I definitely think that the Iranians, they need to look at this as a do or die situation for them. And in terms of what is winning, imagine if the West is not able to achieve any of its goals in Iran. So then you have a situation where NATO and the US has lost against Russia because they're basically sacrificing Ukraine now, where Kyiv is getting absolutely smashed night after night ever since they redirected their resources towards the Middle East. And on top of that, let's say that they don't manage to topple Khamenei, or they don't manage to get any concessions with the nuclear program out of Iran at all either. That's such a blow to Western prestige that I believe I heard another analyst say that it could be, and I don't know if I agree, but that is basically the end of what is known as the Western Empire.
It's absolutely insane. Like I could see it. I can see it. I wanted to Maze, did you oh, Didi, do you have
No, it's not breaking. It's just going off of kind of maybe sort of a little bit what Trump came out just now and said Putin needs to worry about doing a ceasefire before he worries about negotiating. Because this morning, Putin, and a couple of times, he said that he would negotiate a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. And Donald Trump trolled him and said you need to worry about a ceasefire in Ukraine first. Sorry, Casey.
Nah.
I have some breaking news, Casey, when you're done.
No, go ahead, Daniel. Yeah, always breaking news.
Yeah, it's
Never
real
say
quick.
sorry.
Thank you. Our Iranian foreign minister just said we did not send any negotiating delegation to Oman, per Al Jazeera.
Awesome. And Daniel, real quick, did you send that over to Suleiman too? Like,
Yeah, it's on Al Jazeera. I just got it from Financial Juice, an account that I follow for like market updates and breaking news, but I'll send it to him.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It seems like, you're saying some pretty cool things. You finding some good breaking news, so definitely always send it to him, and then his team will get right on it. A Truth, go ahead. I was gonna ask me, but yeah, Truth, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the audacity, the bluster to try to call out Putin and tell him to deal with his own ceasefire, as if he hasn't issued multiple ceasefire proposals, peace agreements, in addition to even unconditional terms of surrender. Whereas what has Trump done in the meantime? New wars have happened under his watch. He's failed to be able to impose any kind of ceasefire in Gaza. Russia, Ukraine's ongoing. He couldn't convince Zelensky to even stop his warmongering, and nor has he been able to stop NATO from funding arming Ukraine. And he's also removed the restriction and suspension on providing arms funds for Ukraine. So the level of hypocrisy from the Trump regime, it just blows my mind. That he's at this point, his supporters are absolute retards. They're megatards, making Israel great again and Ukraine great again. It's absolutely not representing the interests of the American people. And unfortunately, there's still people asleep at the wheel that don't see through this. It is what it is. But I just felt the need to point it out because, again, some people still have faint, bleak hope that somehow there's Project Q is real and that he's playing 4D, 5D chess while things continue to escalate and civilian casualties mount while disproportionate numbers of women and children get killed and civilian infrastructure gets wiped out. Now in Iran, obviously it's already happened in Palestine, it happened in Lebanon, it's happened in Yemen under Trump when he struck multiple targets there. And he ended up having to bend a knee, just like he bent a knee to China, with the trade war, the tariff war. I'm going to have a little presentation about Iran, China later, about what China's interest is in Iran. It's pretty immense. A preview of it is they have a $400 billion Belt and Road Initiative agreement, and they already built the Iran-China trade corridor that started on May 25th. That's huge. It cuts China's transport time by 15 days, and it bypasses all the hostile countries. So yeah, so it's no wonder Trump gave that go-ahead because they want to slow down China's ability to carry out its very efficient logistics program that it has in place to be able to be the #1 manufacturer in the world, and it goes through Iran. It'd be Iran and all the countries in between, and significantly cuts back on cost, which will enable China to further outcompete America. So, there is absolutely a trade component and a financial component to this war as well, beyond the fact. They'll hide behind the guise of Iran being nuclear is a problem for Israel, even though they have no bomb, according to U.S. intelligence. All those lies have been exposed. But it's just one lie after another. You're dealing with a regime that's weaved a massive web of lies, and for people not to see through it at this point, they're absolutely delusional and just fooling themselves and smoking some serious crack, I think. Thank you.
True, check your DM.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. So I just brought up Yusuf. Welcome to the stage, Yusuf. Did you want to chime in on anything? I might have caught him off guard, like, why so quick? I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
I can hear you. I think we can hear you. Can you guys hear Maze?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I can hear
I'm not-
Maze. Just can't hear Yusuf or the guy who came up.
Yeah.
I think it might have went down. The Agency of Chinese Foreign Minister, Israel's attack on Iran violates. I just figured since we're so quiet, I'd jump in with some stuff that's been backed up. Israel's attack on Iran violates international law and the norms governing international relations. We are communicating and coordinating with Oman and other countries to end the conflict. Also, earlier, a few minutes ago, Al-Quds and Al-Qassam brigades took out another IDF soldier that was aggressing upon Gaza.
I got a bit of news myself here from Lord Bevo. Explosives found in the Navav Street area of Tehran. After citizens reported suspicious movement in the Navav Street area, the Ministry of Intelligence arrived at the scene and found explosives. The seized materials included 127 kilograms of various substances, sulfur, potassium, nitrate, phosphorus, etc., and 3 liters of explosive liquids. The area was completely cleared. The suspect had recently settled in Tehran and was not a local resident. Which basically means the Iranians are really cracking down in their intelligence apparatus, but also one of the hints here was that this was reported by citizens. In other words, Iranians are organizing, they're sharpening up, they're being alert, and they're reporting people that Iranians are organizing, which is the exact way that you fight against this type of operation. See something, say something.
Exactly. Yes. And also shows the... Sorry, who was going to talk about? Carry on.
No, I was going to say it's an extensive spy network that Israel has there, and if they're finding these drones here, hundreds upon hundreds of kilos of explosive substances here and there, it's got to be a lot going on there.
On top of that, just before you jump in there, just before you jump in, on top of that, when you have these organizations out, as soon as you catch a couple of them, believe you me, you can get new information out of them to track others as well. So we're probably going to see more and more of these guys get rolled up. Dara, please go ahead. Sorry.
It's also to highlight the fact that they managed to infiltrate Iran so well. I mean, I don't agree with it, but they've done a pretty damn good job of it. If you want to infiltrate your enemy and find out what's going on, find out where they are, they've done a phenomenal job, just like the pagers. It's both horrific acts, but they're bloody good at it. But then you need to highlight that and then go, well, why didn't they do that in Gaza? You know, it's the most fortified, watched border on the planet, but yet, October the 7th happened. Convenient. You know, you need to highlight this, that they're really going to do this to other countries. When it came to Gaza, they didn't. You know,
the thing is, you use different tools for different situations, and as far as Gaza goes, the Hamas, one of the reasons why they've earned their reputation is because they knew the situation they were in. They knew that they were always under Israeli custody, more or less, and the Israelis had them under 24/7 surveillance, meaning that within Hamas, they would find dissidents really damn quickly, and anything that looked like Israel was infiltrating them or trying to flip Gazans to the Israeli side by offering them freedom, food, money, or whatever it might be, in order to.
That's a fair point, but the thing being is, there's been multiple reports that they knew about the attack. You had the Egyptians telling them, you had the border guards reporting it, saying, look, there's something going on here. You have the government being caught falsifying phone records. I mean, they're being caught, and it's being reported extensively within Israel, but it's not being reported around the world. I don't know if you saw it, there's a clip there from a journalist holding the BBC to account, saying, why have you never mentioned the Hannibal Directive? I mean, we heard about that within a week of the incident. They used the Hannibal Directive, but the media were just silent, reported in Israel. So you got the reports with Israel, you got the soldiers actually saying it, you've got a witness from one of the kibbutz. So it's not like you're just making it up where people go, oh, that's lies. You can actually go, look, hear from the horse's mouth, as they say. So it's just to highlight this is so important, and it just shows up the lies and hypocrisy. And you keep nipping at everybody, and eventually people will believe what's actually really happening, and that's what we need to do.
How dare you notice?
I know, is it shocking? You know what I mean? And an Irishman, apparently we're meant to be thick.
Do I have a hot mic? Okay. Let me just say real quick, I just wanted to, because yesterday the mics were muting and unmuting. I just want to say real quick, when it comes to infiltration of Mossad, and I'm not going to act like I'm some expert on what they do, but what I know is that these people are patient, and I think that they put their people in from like decades ago, built families in Iran. You know what I mean? Like look, Barry Weiss in America. Would you think that she's just some reporter, somebody who just tells the news with the Freedom Press? No, she is an Israeli spy. That is what she is. I mean,
let me just share a little bit about how. Oh, pardon.
Yeah, I'm almost done. So that's the point. Like, I don't give these people that much credit as far as like, they're not machines. Okay. So they can be beaten. So I don't think that they came up with these operations to go into Iran like, a couple years ago or anything like that. They are patient, I will say. But yeah, and then another point about Israeli spies, we got a whole bunch of them getting ready to come into Tampa, because I just wanted to say this, Ron DeSantis was able to he chartered 4 jets to pick up what they call Americans and fly them to Tampa so that they can return home. This is coming from the New York Post. They call them Americans who were on Israel birthright trips. They were evacuated, right? These are more spies coming into the country, as far as I'm concerned. People with, vendettas and everything else, whatever. It is what it is. So he helped to get that operation going. But we know that Florida's like, God, that place is Zio Center like crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so...
I'm sorry, Didi, go ahead, Didi. Yeah, if it's okay, guys. Just real quick off of what Casey just said, it just hit my feed. A Mossad spy was about to be captured in Tehran and ate a suicide pill.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
cyanide. And well, he tried to, but they wrestled it from him.
No, it's because they're damn death cults. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. But Casey, something to be very clear about when it comes to clandestine operations and espionage and sabotage, right? It's not Israeli Mossad agents that move to Iran. What you do is you recruit assets within the territory that you want to operate in. And the way that you can do that is you find poor people. You find people who might have grievances against the government. You might find people who have very big egos or who are otherwise ideologically convinced of your side, which is, by the way, why Israel claims that it's the most moral army in the world and that they're a beacon of humanity and democracy. It's why the USA exports an image of itself through Hollywood that they're always the good guys in order to appeal to the potential spies and saboteurs who they can recruit in various countries who actually believe if I work with the Americans or the Israelis, I will get some freedom and democracy for my country. So it's not that somebody infiltrated 10 years ago and that they're just pretending to be an Iranian now suddenly. It's that they met them at some, they recruited them some other way. They approached them, they befriended them, they found out, hey, is this somebody I can recruit and appeal to who will do what I need them to do? And then they will offer them money, or they will coerce them if they manage to get them on a sex tape, which, the Israelis are pretty good at. Or if they find out that you're a homosexual, which by the way, the Israelis claim that they're super gay friendly, right? But they also extort homosexual Palestinians if they find out and have evidence that they're homosexuals by saying that, hey, we'll spill this on you to bring shame on your family. So you
Right.
better
So
be
the simple
homosexual.
fix is to not be homosexual and straight, and then you'll be immune to a Mossad recruitment.
100%. I
Oh my
was trying
God.
to my
You know,
conversion
homos are
therapy
targets,
got
man. They make
caught here. I'm
themselves
sorry, Trish.
targets. It's their fault.
But the thing as well, you have to bear in mind
Hold on,
that I mean they
hold
do
on,
play the long
Hold
game.
on, Dara, hold
because
on.
I
I
have
think he
Didi who
wasn't.
might.
Yeah, Casey, you're the best. He wasn't done, brother. If it's okay, and I know Maze is a little bit busy right now, or just wrapping up something really quick. So if it's okay, guys, one at a time, so we can hear everybody. Let's let Abu Wednesday finish, and then we'll go to you, Dara, or Casey, if she's got something.
The reason why I go to you first when I see your hand is because I know you do this thing where you put your hand up and then it's breaking news, and I really would rather you just cut in. But if I see your hand, I'm always going to stop everybody and come to you. But all right, yeah, go ahead, Dara.
My plane was already landing, so I will give it up.
Okay, and I'm gonna take
Sorry.
over. Who can compete with the energy of an Irish man?
I have
Hello,
Oh
breaking
no,
news.
everybody.
Sorry,
I
apologies.
You
Um,
can't compete with an Irish energy. So
I
give me a
think,
minute.
Daniel, do you have
Hold
breaking
on,
news?
do you have
yeah,
breaking news,
this
Daniel?
is
Okay.
pretty from I-24 News. Today, the Iranians conveyed a message to the Qataris, who, together with the Omanis, are trying to mediate a ceasefire, saying, "We are ready to talk to reach an agreement with the United States, but Israel needs to, quote, calm the situation." I'll send it to
See,
Soleimani.
yeah, see, that's funny because we saw a tweet, and Suleiman has done an amazing job really putting out the full written and the pieces of it as they were breaking. So they've pretty much said we're not begging. You guys have fooled us once, right? We're not going to ask you to negotiate. We've been here, we've done that kind of situation. So now, truthfully, I think this is Israel. I think this is Israel, and something that's really important to know. One of the highest sought supplies right now in Israel are glass and aluminum. It's an insane demand. It's almost approaching more expensive than gold, believe it or not, guys, because of the damage that has really been done and that we're just not seeing.
Wow. Wow.
yeah, I mean the infrastructure is
Anyways,
getting toasted totally.
there you go. Irishman. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
When do you think there's a Cobra meeting around the corner? Darren, do you think there'll be a Cobra meeting around the corner with Keir Starmer?
Well, let's see. That's in the UK. Ireland's got it's its own country. I mean, we have an occupied
I
6
know
counties in the
that.
north.
I know that, but we're
And
neighbors. You might know
yeah,
or you might hide of.
well,
Do you have any
they
idea?
probably have a Cobra meter. They'd have one to be we're going to do something. Have the Cobra meter and it'd be a fanfare. They've already made a decision. They're going to do whatever Israel wants. It's been proven. Like with Jeremy Corbyn, when he was the leader of the Labour Party, the powers that be that really establishment that run the show in the UK and have done since 1066 is basically told them, are you going to guarantee that you will support Israel no matter what in any military scenario? And he says no. And then he was vilified. He was the best president the UK never had. If he'd gotten into power, I mean, the UK would have been in a lot better place than it is now, you know?
He was too nice to be
yes,
to be a prime minister. But then he was a good opposition leader. For me, he's still my leader, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's an angel.
I know he's absolutely. I don't know. He does it. You know, to be a leader, you don't have to have an office. He is voice to the voiceless. To be quite honest, it doesn't matter what it is, where it is. He's there. Maze, thank you very much. You've been holding on. God knows for how long. Suleiman. Can see other people coming in, but Maze, you've been here for how long? You've been just sitting down there. I've been on call, so just listening. And yeah, Simon, I enjoyed listening to Simon with all his theories and everything else. But that said and done, what I wanted to know is, has anybody speak or Maze or Truth, anything from Turkey? I know UAE is not gonna say anything because they're wrapped around America. Qatar, the same
What was
thing.
the
I've just said
question?
now.
Anything from Turkey yet?
Turkey, yeah, the Turks. Have they said anything? Have they made any statements?
I can't really hear you because I'm in a store. I'm about to walk out in a minute, but as soon as
I got you. But Truth, did Turkey make a statement? I think was there a statement made, or Didi, do you remember, or should I just go look for it?
Hey, I think there
I
was a
didn't see
statement
anything
yesterday.
worthwhile or meaningful. Turkey has its own
Exactly.
interests, though.
It's the same
Okay.
thing. We heavily condemn the strikes. It's the same crap over and over.
It's just the lip service, the usual lip service.
Exactly.
Maybe we can hear the music. Are you in a store or something?
Oh shit, sorry.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
Maze did send me something that she wanted me to bring up and discuss. You guys remember when Chrissy Nome yesterday collapsed and was rushed to a hospital? Apparently, she visited a biohazard lab with RFK Jr. before she got hospitalized. So I wanted to throw that out there. Not that
That's crazy.
it is nuts, honestly.
What a coincidence.
Just a quick shout out to Ken O'Keefe. He's in the building. Hi, welcome, Ken. How you doing? I know I kind of called on you
Aloha.
super quick. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, aloha. And yeah, it's an amazing time, and I'm actually really happy to see the big show. For so long, it's been bloody obvious to me what the threat is and how it's inside the gate and controlling everything, the wheels of power through finance. But finally, the arrogance has taken precedence, and arrogance, I know, is a weakness. When Israel started talking about human stuff, it shocked me that the world wasn't quite yet there to understand that this is the Samson option threat, which I've been trying to warn people about forever. And here we sit on the precipice of it. But I have to say, much love to the resistance. I wish Piers would have invited me on so I could have said, no, I do not condemn Hamas. As a matter of fact, love and respect for fighting back And let us not forget that the whole thing that set this off was Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. This operation they did was a masterclass, and all that 40 beheaded baby and rapes and all of these lies that were repeated over and over and over incessantly, finally they've started to crumble. And now you've got Yemen, which, wow, what a beacon of heroism on an unparalleled scale. Little old Yemen being genocided for over a decade now, funded by the United States, which is really Jewish power. And they fought and they shut Israel down. Ben Gurion Airport was first taking hits from them. And now we've got Iran, and of course, love and respect to Hezbollah for the valiant fight that they put forward when nobody else was doing anything. It is stunning. It is beautiful. I'm so happy for the big show, and I'm so happy for everybody that is now engaged and starting to see very clearly that we have a threat. And as long as that so-called Jewish state of Israel exists, the entirety of the world is under threat. There's no room for anything but one state, Palestine. That's it, Palestine. And when the world finally does what it's capable of doing and exercises this monstrosity in the Middle East, which has been sitting there conducting false flag after false flag, and here we sit, and I see people talking about it. We've got another false flag, back to the same old tricks. If there isn't a false flag in the next week or two, I would be rather shocked, quite frankly. And I'm wondering, how is the world going to respond to that? How many are going to be manipulated? How many are going to see right through it? But anyway, thank you for allowing me a place to say a
Ken,
few things here.
real quick, man. You were up the
Hold
other
on
day when I
one
was.
second, Abba Wednesday, 1 second. Just so everybody knows, guys, please repost. I'm so sorry, Abba Wednesday. Everybody, please repost the space. And just since this is a recorded program, the opinions of the speakers are of their own and do not fall back on the host or any of the panelists. Thank you so much. I just wanted to put that out there. Everybody go down, please repost the space, like the space, share the space, bookmark the space. And I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with your words. It's just, you know what's going on here in the United States, so we've just got to put that disclaimer out. Sorry, but Wednesday, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ken, you were up on the panel the other day here, and I think you jumped out right before I got to speak. So just for the
And so,
audience
yes,
that
Senator
we have
Carlson
here,
did
in case you're
obliterate
not
Senator
familiar
Ted Cruz.
with Mr. O'Keefe, Ken O'Keefe, he is that legendary Marine with a teardrop tattoo who you've probably seen interviews with, where he actually speaks the truth and where he pushes back on this narrative that Hamas are terrorists, or that Palestinians are terrorists, or that the Palestinian cause is somehow wrong. And Ken, I just wanted to go ahead and thank you, because yours was one of the first interviews that began causing cracks in my lifelong brainwashing. When I actually saw a former service member stand up and say, hey, you know what? If I would have been in their shoes, then guess what? I would have picked up weapons with pride. And that's one of the steps on at least my journey. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. Really appreciate you. God bless.
Well,
You're an absolute
thank
legend.
you. Thank you to God. You know, Path I've walked has been it's been an interesting one, and I am writing my book, and there's a lot of details in that path. And you know, one of the things I'd like to say to people is that for quite a long time now, I've been saying that comfort is the real enemy. And I know this too well because I grew up in Southern California, and I really did have a lovely childhood and a really wonderful upbringing, surfing and playing football and chasing girls and doing all the things that you do. But I still saw from a young age how in Southern California, how much money do you make? What kind of car do you drive? Who do you know? And if, unless you have good stats in those areas, you really weren't worth shit. And it really didn't matter. Like, you might be a really amazing person, but you wouldn't be given the credit for who you are and the content of your character, because You don't make a bunch of money. You don't drive a swank car, and you don't know the right producers in Hollywood or wherever else to get the money. And I know that the world in the West has no idea still yet what's coming. They really don't. But all of that comfort, even the little things that you take for granted, like being able to go to the store and buy some food, these things are going to be gone before you know it. And it's all because we didn't see the writing on the wall. If there was one last thing that I would say just on this little diatribe, I swear it's God. It's God. It's an absence of God. It's an absence of understanding that we have an eternal soul, and that soul is the most precious thing we possess. And there is a final judgment. And, you know, all of you here who are doing good things, when your children ask you in the future, what did you do? You're going to be able to stand tall and say, I did this and I did that. And I fought against that system, which really was going to enslave you, my son or my daughter. You know, this system wishes to enslave all of us as if we need anything more. I mean, how many of you, this is a serious question. I'd love to hear people answer it. Do you remember as vividly, or do you remember when these rapes were caught on videotape, which, by the way, I know I've met leaders in the resistance in Palestine going back 22 years ago. I was meeting guys who were at the head, and then eventually I made it to Gaza, and I made friends and direct contact with the resistance. But I remember I've been told over and over by all these men and women who've been in prisons in Israel that rape is normal. It's normal here. Do you remember when that video of raping a Palestinian, and it was just one videotape of how many have been done? I don't know.
I'm so
But
sorry, Ken. I
the
just
way
wanted to move a little. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. I just wanted to give some breaking news. Senator Ted Cruz fails to use the Bible to justify his support of Israel. The tweet is in the nest, guys. Soleiman's been working, and his team have been working like crazy to get really good information out to you. This Tucker Carlson interview is going to be a serious expose. Please, everybody, make sure that you retweet it, like it, share it, do all the things, okay? Sorry about that, Ken. Back to you.
Actually, I'm gonna go, but let me go
Ken,
to
real quick, I have
Daniel. You have breaking news. Go ahead.
yeah, I have some news. Just read it quickly. Hezbollah just said that they will only intervene in the war between Israel and Iran if they feel that the Iranian government is at risk of collapse. That's per Al
That's
Hadath.
not true.
Okay,
With
thank you,
all due
Ibrahim.
respect.
Can you?
Yes.
That's not
So I
true.
wanted
Well,
to kind of just
okay,
note something. We have to be very
whatever.
cognizant. There's a very big difference between Hezbollah and the Lebanese army.
Didi,
The
can you let
Leban.
Ibrahim respond to that? Because he's
Yeah,
got direct
'cause
Oh, sure.
context.
Go
he's
ahead.
in
Sorry.
Lebanon.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Hezbollah is not saying one single statement, not one single word. So whatever anybody is saying is not true. I'm not talking about you, Daniel. I'm talking about Al Hadath, which is a
No,
pro-Zionist,
that's fine, man.
which is a pro-Zionist channel. I just have a couple of things to say,
Thank
if you
you.
don't mind. Abbas
Okay, I
Arakchi,
just let me. Of course, Ibrahim, I'm gonna come right back to you. I just wanted to tell Ken and everybody that doesn't know. Whenever we have breaking news, we just kind of interject and speak on it real quick. And so, Ken, I'm gonna give it right back to you after Ibrahim is done. Okay. And I'm walking out of the store now. Thanks for holding it down, Didi. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Abbas Arakchi just said that no plane left to Oman. Nobody is even went to Oman to negotiate anything. He just stated this just like 5 minutes ago. I'm gonna take advantage of Ken being here. If you don't mind, can I speak to
Of course.
the Americans and to the people in the West? Israel initiated this war against Iran, and what is the West telling us? All of them, not the people. I'm talking about the governments right now. They are saying Israel has the right to defend itself. So, following this logic, anybody can attack anyone and just say, I have the right to defend myself, right? Following the American logic and what Donald Trump is saying on TV. So basically, I don't understand how some Americans still do not see how much their government is lying to them. They lied to you about Iraq. They said there were weapons of mass destruction.
Man, I
just need 2 minutes, and I would love to listen to you. They said there was weapons of mass destruction. Donald Trump himself said they knew that there were no weapons of mass destruction. Okay, they lied about Yemen, they lied about Syria, they lied about Palestine, of course, they lied about Lebanon, and today they are lying about Iran. So I just want to ask the Western people, and especially the people in the United States, how can you still trust your government? They are taking you to hell. Ken is here, he's a vet. He knows that a war against Iran, and he knows that the American bases in this region are basically sitting ducks. They are lying to you when they say that they can protect the bases. They cannot, and they know. Why aren't they protecting the entity then? If they can stop the missiles to reach the bases, they can stop it from reaching the Israeli entity, right? Why aren't they? They cannot. They want to, but they cannot. Guys, the real people who have the right to defend themselves is us, the people of this region, especially the people of Palestine, because they have been occupied since 1948, and they have all the right to defend themselves. The people of Lebanon have the right to defend themselves. The people of Syria, Iraq, Iran, Yemen, these people have the right to defend themselves, not the Israelis. The Israelis are settlers. They came and stole the land. This is something that we should work on the vocab that the Americans are using. Defend themselves from what? You attacked me. I have the right to defend myself. No, I do not condemn Hamas. No, because Hamas did the right thing. They are defending themselves. The 7th of October is not an act of aggression. The 7th of October is an act of defense. The Israelis refused to let go of the prisoners. The Israelis were killing the Palestinians before the 7th of October. They were killing the Iranians before the 7th of October, the Lebanese, all the people of this region. They killed Egyptians, they killed Jordanian, they killed most of the nationalities in the Arab world. And yet they have the right to defend themselves. I wonder what will America say if somebody attacked them, and then this person say, or this country say, we have the right to defend ourselves.
Ibrahim, almost
Just real
no
quick, Daniel, I'm
American
so sorry.
people.
I'm so sorry. Breaking news:
I'm
Israel is detecting another incoming from Iran, so we're waiting on that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be just because I know Ken needs to go. Ken, I apologize. All I was going to say is most of the American people, if you stopped random people on the street, regardless what side of the aisle or if they vote at all, don't trust their government. Just throwing that out there.
So basically, I'm receiving messages right now on my DM telling me, we know who you are and your real name. Fucking idiots. You think we are scared of you?
It's Jews.
If I may address what you were saying, Ibrahim, it was precisely what I was talking about growing up in Southern California. It's amazing how they're really comfortable. It's like, as an example, you know, if my average day is going out diving with my company on a boat out in the beautiful turquoise blue ocean, swimming with turtles, and you know, going to have a lovely meal later in the day, and you know, maybe a drink or two and relax, I don't really care, do I? That's the average mentality. Sadly, what's happening over there in some other part of the world where our taxes are going to pay for literal war crimes and crimes against humanity. You were also talking about how the current reality of being able to attack another nation and this not to be seen. Ironically, the Nuremberg Principles said that the biggest crime that the Germans committed was war of aggression. How ironic is that? The United States has been conducting wars of aggression. Not one of these wars has been defensive. Every single one of them has been imperial in nature. And every single one of them was run by a head of the snake that controls the financial system and has bought off our politicians long ago. Now, it's taken another, basically about a year, 2 years of Epstein hitting the fore. Now we got Diddy and all of the back end reality. And you know what it comes down to? I get back to God. It's Satan. These people worship Satan. They are paying their service to Satan. And did not Jesus warn us? How beautiful is that? A man from Nazareth in Palestine, historic Palestine, who stood up and said 2,000 years ago, and it is identical to what it is today. Those who say, and it wasn't Jews, because there was no such word as Jew back then, it was Judeans. Those who say they are Judean, but they are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. And just to hit back on what I was talking about, I thought, wow, here we have a nation literally believing to their core that the rest of us, the Goyim, are slaves, and that literally their position in the world is to be the slave master of all of us, billions of Goyim, and that they can rape us. And in fact, the rape that they did on camera, in which we know who did it because he became a national hero, I was shocked.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting
that
you. Israeli media just said missiles launched from Iran.
Yep, and I wanted to break in
shocked.
real quick, guys. I'm sorry. Breaking news. It's in the nest, guys. Please retweet it, post it, quote tweet it, do all the things, like it, share it. Just in wreckage of the Israeli Hermes 900 drone that was shot down by Iranian air defenses in
Nice.
Yeah, and also breaking news: the missiles incoming from Iran that we just broke as well. Please like, share, retweet, all those things, guys.
Now, I remember a bunch of Trump's lawyers and people saying, we know the Chinese are flying in these flights, and they had the flight logs and had the intel in the days before and even the day of the election. And we saw a lot of the trucks pulling up in Pennsylvania and in Arizona and in Michigan. Everything's locked up, middle of the night, pull in, and Asian, Chinese-looking men get out and women and unload them. And I went, wow, that looks suspicious. And then more came out, and then they sued anybody that talked about it, had rigged courts like they do. They sue in key jurisdictions with key judges they control. And they get these big judgments against anybody that dared talk about it. And, oh, look, Atlanta, people taking the same ballot box over and over again, covering up the windows, but the surveillance footage shows it and running them through over and over again. Oh, we find you guilty, $87 million. Giuliani. And it just goes on and on. And even though Dinesh D'Souza just picked a few cities and a few battlegrounds and went and paid money to the telecoms, anybody can do this, and found thousands of people going, in some cases hundreds, or dozens on average, back to safe houses that are then controlled by NGOs, and then going to different drop boxes all over the city, taking photos as they do it, stuffing 10, 20, 30, 100 ballots in. And people even caught it themselves on video and would walk up and say, what are you doing? I had family caught them doing it in Austin the day after the election. The guy taking photos, the signatures, everything, dozens of ballots. At the counter, at the Congress main post office in Austin. So now, FBI Kash Patel reveals Chinese plot to create thousands of fake mail-in ballots. It wasn't thousands, it was millions. That's just some of the documents they got. 2020 election, Chris Wray hid this like he did the Iranian breach of the 2020 election system, but it gets way worse. Mike Benj, is an expert in this, former government analyst, and he gets into how the Carnegie Endowment with the Chi-Coms and the CIA and the DHS and the special censorship office they set up ran it and covered it up. So I got a clip of that. But I mean, this is just incredible. And that this memos and documents had gone out with some people doing their jobs at the FBI, and then it was ordered, classified, and pulled. Because again, occasionally you've still got some good people in the system that find out about stuff. So this is beyond a big deal. You had that, the auto pin, and the fact that Biden wasn't running anything. Everything they did the last 4 years has to be repealed. It's not even law. The executive orders, Trump's absolutely right. And that's the brief thing I'm going to hit now and then get back into Iran. Because I've done a lot of soul searching on this, and people are very tribal. People either want to say, you're for Trump, you're against Trump. I will be for Trump on good things he's doing, and I will oppose bad things. That's what you're supposed to do. And I'm very thankful he's in office and not the Democrats, because they are the mega cancer and at war literally with our basic values and are promoting every form of transgender, pedophile, open border globalism you can imagine. And Trump is really ramping up deportations. I needed to get to work this morning. I was coming in to work out first, got a gym here at the office. And I saw the state police and ICE right when you turn in on the road to our office with a truckload of what were probably illegals being put in handcuffs. It was a large Ford, double cab truck. And they had their mask on, the ICE. And I almost pulled over, got some video, and I got to get to work. Plus everybody knows this is going on anyways. But they are, and I talked to people at the jail I know, starting 3 months ago, previously the last 4 years, they would not, anybody here illegally arrested for murder, carjacking, armed robbery, DWI, they would just, Garza would just release them. Usually on no bond, they just disappear, rarely charge them. Now, every day, a bus or busloads of illegals get taken away by ICE. So, see, I see that stuff on the ground. Trump is doing with what he had and then the buildup of forces. He's even conscripted the IRS into the majority of their enforcement officers into helping ICE. I mean, it is happening. And so there's so much good going on. What he's done, again, getting our jobs back, the trade deals. That's why it's so paradoxical and frustrating to see Trump really going the wrong way on Iran. But I know that he believes from his perspective it's right, and it will damage Trump's coalition and could potentially make us lose the midterms. But the problems are way worse than that, because the Iranians will bare minimum block the Strait of Hormuz and a lot more. And then the other possibilities are just Armageddon level. So, but we're in this position, and this is where we are. And then you get the Democrats caught red-handed with the Chi-Coms and the Carnegie Endowment. And I've told you so many times, the Carnegie Endowment and the Rockefeller Foundation is the top of the shadow government. Set up for that over 100 years ago by the robber barons to take over. The big foundations. And then all the NGOs come out of it. And the UN comes out of it, all of it. All set up by the Carnegie and Rockefeller Foundations. Ford Foundation and others. And they took the former Carnegie head and made him the head of the CIA under Biden so they could carry out this coup against America in direct alliance with the communist Chinese. And so that's really why Trump is doing all of this, is we heard there was a split with the globalists in China in the last 15 years, but there really wasn't. And China was being allowed to win economic military takeover. And you can say what you want about Trump. Everything he's doing is about getting threats out of the way, in his view, Iran, to demonstrate strength to Russia and to isolate China. And the preparation is for direct war. And the Pentagon believes that we will be at war within 24 months or sooner with China. I don't like communist China. I understand they're the biggest threat. I understand their cancer. I understand our own globalist infestation helped set them up. Same old story. So more than just picking sides and bitching and complaining, which I'll definitely do a lot of criticism so people know what's going on in my view, we need to understand the big picture. And China thinks Trump going into Iran will strengthen its hand globally. And it probably will with BRICS and other things. And Israel wants regime change. Israel wants this. And Israel has more U.S. senators under their control than Trump does. That's a fact. And so Trump is working with what he's got. And even if Trump doesn't go into Iran, and that's where this is going, not just taking out their nuclear sites, not just bombing them with bunker busters, then Iran's going to hit U.S. military bases, and then we go direct to war, and then there'll be uprisings all over Iran, and we'll hear, well, we've got to go in to support the regime change, and this is boots on the ground, and it's all part of the larger global war going on. Call it World War III, World War IV. Pentagon calls it World War IV. Cold War was World War III, but the public only knows about a big war like this is World War III in their heads, so let's call it World War III. Academically, it's World War IV. And it's way more kinetic. And regardless of what angle you support or you know what you think out there, this is really escalatory, dangerous, and bad. But at the heart of it, Trump is making the best decision he believes, because the meetings have leaked, the cabinet meetings have leaked. I've talked to a lot of people that have been in the unofficial and official ones. Trump has brought in other advisors. And he's had Flynn in there, and he's had Colonel McGregor in there, and McGregor's talked about it. And Trump is very upset about this. He's not happy about this, but he believes he's making the right decision. And the decision has been made to attack them with bunker busters, and then they know Iran is going to hit U.S. bases, and then the U.S. goes directly to war. And just a week ago, this was all about just taking out their nuclear sites and their missiles. And clearly Israel with the U.S. is winning. But now Netanyahu's saying they're losing and is begging the United States to come in, playing the underdog. So I lay out all the pieces. It's what I do on my broadcast. People love to take a piece of this out of context, a piece of that out of context, and misrepresent what I'm saying and doing. I am giving you a report on the best thinking, and I can tell you it is, from all the different angles of what's happening and what the possible scenarios are. Almost everybody else just decides what camp they're in and doesn't even really know who the real players are and why this is happening, and then just decides to repeat talking points on that. That's why this broadcast is different. And that's why Tom Renz had a big whistleblower and they got a lawsuit going. It'll be in court at one point if they don't settle it. But he's not at liberty to bring it out yet. He's involved in a whole bunch of these lawsuits, and he goes, I can't believe it. We got these Rockefeller Foundation documents, and it goes into Carnegie and all of it. And it's their communications with other major think tanks going back 15 years ago until recently, obsessing on me, creating alternate narratives. And who do I work for? And I've got to be silenced. Well, who do I work for? This is what I do. I've been reading Carnegie Endowment documents for 30 plus years. I know about the founding charter of it. I know everything we see comes out of it. The depopulation plan, the UN, why they want to get rid of the two sexes. They were given the goal at the turn of the last century, 120 plus years ago, it's in their founding charter, to have freedom from war. And they came back a decade later They were already setting it up before World War I. They came back after World War I and said, the answer is the League of Nations, but the real answer is ending men and women's relationships, ending the family, ending nation states, ending competition, and depopulating most people. Because the human cycle is competition and is war. So we basically have to end humanity to end war. And that's what you see, turning us into corporate produced, factory farmed creatures under social credit scores with brain chips, with nanotech flowing through our veins. And that's if we're allowed to live. So see, I know why the whole thing was set up. I know who the mad scientists are. I know the larger project. I know they want global instability so they can pose as the saviors. Microcosm is 3 years of lockdowns, the third world, crushing food production. 96% of people come into the U.S. and Europe say, I'm here because I'm starving. They are. Then they point out 50, 60, 70, 80 million extra people starved to death under the COVID lockdowns, and they blame COVID when it was the lockdowns did it. The UN says they want to cut farming by half by 2030 because it's bad for the environment. What's going to happen when you do that? Gee, what happens when you don't put gas in your car and keep driving? You run out. What happens when you don't feed society? You have uprisings, war, depopulation. So when people harp only on Israel, and I say, hey, don't just focus on Israel, that's not a defense of Netanyahu. Not a defense of anything Israel's doing. You're looking at one piece of the larger thing and obsessing on what it's doing. And right now, that piece is front and center. And it's very important. But you got to understand the Carnegie Endowment. You got to understand the Rockefeller Foundation. You got to understand the State Department Memorandum 7277. You got to understand freedom from war. You got to understand UNESCO. You got to understand Agenda 2030, Agenda 21. You've got to understand the 35,000-foot view. Like if you had a blindfold put on you and were taken into a barn in the dark and they stuck your nose up against something, you could smell fur, feel fur, and you go, what is it, a horse? No. What is it, a cow? No. What is it? Well, they turn the lights on. You got a blindfold on. They say, we can take your blindfold off. But even though you're up against it, you can't really, you're like, well, it's big. And you start stepping back and you go, holy mackerel, it's an elephant. So if you got your nose right up against Black Lives Matter, what is it? A group rioting that hates America. You got your nose right up against Israel. What is it? It's Israel. Expansion is taking over. You pull back and you go, oh, that's what the big thing is. And that's what I want everybody to do, because only by seeing the big thing, post-human era, the future's not human, the big plan, then it's a lot clearer what's really going on. So I'm going to get into Trump and the clips and the latest coming out and all the things that are going on. Trump asked, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to talk to the mullahs? Have they reached out? Yeah, I told them it's a little too late to be talking. Unconditional surrender. Oh, I talk to Bibi every day. He's doing a great job. I told him, hit him harder. No, Trump's gone to war. Everything's being positioned. The missiles are being aimed. The tankers are being filled. The emergency nuclear war, shadow government, COG, bombers are in the air. And then Tucker's talking to Cruz, and Cruz goes, yeah, we're already at war with them. Oh, really? Well, yeah. Well, I don't need Ted Cruz to tell me that. I told you first. We are at war with Iran. And Russia said, yeah, we got a defense deal with them, but sorry, Iran. Because they know the neocons want to have a nuclear war with Russia. So Russia backed down on Iran so far. They didn't back down on Ukraine after backing down many times with NATO expansion. The Chinese didn't back down in Korea. And if you study the Chinese, they're real nice and friendly till they're not. And then they are robotic killing machines. So we are on the verge of total annihilation. We need to be praying. And we need to be dialing back the Lindsey Grahams and the Benjamin Netanyahus and all the rest of it. So, Trump thinks that this has got to be done because Iran is so close to a nuke. Yeah, they got him. They're worried this Ayatollah could die. They could get a more radical one in. You can one-dimensionally see Israel's point, but Israel's running around destabilizing things. So is our government. And Trump stopped all that. He's been trying to stop that. But will it be a day late and $1 short? We're going to go to break. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to get into China with the Democrats and the CIA stealing the 2020 election. On record, confirmed now. Unbelievable. Kind of a big deal. And, yeah, we're vindicated, but so what? Now we've got the total proof. Just like on the laptop that they did order it covered up and knew it was real, just like Crossfire Hurricane, they knew Trump wasn't a Russian agent and made it all up. I mean, but this is way bigger than all that. Please stay with us. And then I'll get back into all the clips and all the news and the latest developments on Iran and the insanity of all this. But while everybody else is debating, will we hit Iran? The bunker busters are loaded. The space-based weapons are aimed. This is going to be a demonstration of the Russians and Chinese. Just like dropping Fat Man and Little Boy on Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a demonstration. At the end of World War II, the United States had the biggest Johnson. All right, we're going to break.
Altitude. And so that also enables it to not be detected by the radar systems on time or the communication towers. So this way, again, they have far less time to be able to react towards it in any event, even if they use their best missile defense system, which I believe is David Sling or THAAD, depending on what's a ballistic. So it would be one of those two. So again, they're more likely going to beat those air defense systems when it's just too far out of sight, out of reach, too far out of sight. And it'll be out of reach by the time they're able to react on time. That's it.
I think there was 8, by the way.
Real quick,
Have you got?
Maze, you
By the
kind
way,
of
this is
bugging a
something
little bit.
U.S. military has never seen before. So they have,
Yeah.
there's no way they'll have time to be able to react or figure something out towards it in the short term. So Iran's got free reign.
Has anybody mentioned the Gerald R. Ford strike force group that's en route?
yes, we did.
Okay, all right.
I just want to bring up real quick that it's now sundown in Israel, and yesterday it was reported
We're
all
just
over the
getting some more
place that
news.
Iran.
Sorry about this, Daniel. I'm going to give it straight back to you, like 30 seconds. Iran just shot Iran just shot an unusual ballistic missile against Israel. The missile trajectory indicates likely Khorramshahr type missile for the first time. So we're getting different reports. So we're getting reports that it was a modified exhaust. Other reports said actually it's not a modified exhaust. It's just that we've not seen this type of missile before. It's a Khorramshahr type missile, and hence why you're seeing the different trajectory and the different kind of smoke that's been left behind. But on that, Daniel, I will come to you in a second, but I just want to hear from Truth or somebody who knows about missiles. So anti-NSA, either one of you two. Tell people a bit about the Khorramshahr and why that would be actually a totally different type of missile and the implications of it.
I believe it's another type of hypersonic missile that Iran has, again, with varying speeds. If I remember correctly, it goes up to like Mach 15, maybe more, I'm not sure, because whatever they disclose on public sites is usually less than what they really are, because they obviously don't want hostile nations to know exactly what the specifications are, top speeds are, exact trajectories are for their missiles. They're going to find out about it after they've been struck successfully, so they can try to track it or even potentially re-engineer it. It'll come with a whole lot of difficulty, and by the time they do, many more will have decimated Israel, and they won't even have anything left to be able to strike from. But that's just a little bit of hyperbole. hyperbole. But yeah, this particular missile, I'll do a little more research on it. They have a massive range of missiles. So when you saw like Max Blumenthal's video of where he went to the Iran's missile museum where they display some of the older types, they're not giving exact accurate information about their missiles. Whatever I can find out is not going to be the exact details. So I don't want to waste people's time and tell them what they've disclosed, because they're not going to tell you exactly how that missile operates, what its trajectory is, whether it is obviously a modified form of ballistic missile, but they didn't just modify it on the spot. It was pre-planned. It was prepared and tested in advance, possibly even with the Ukraine, possibly during military exercises, and also during the Russia-Ukraine conflict, because Russia has previously sold Russia both missiles and drones, and they test out a lot of their equipment in that battlefield. So this is an advantage the U.S. Army had for many years with all the perpetual wars. They could test out all their equipment and say, hey, it's battle tested, and then charge a premium. Well, now Iran can do the same, has been doing the same, and so has Russia. So I'll get more intel on the missile. I'll get back to you. I'll see what else I can find, because they may have more now that Go ahead.
I'm getting multiple reports that new missile was intercepted. I can't be certain, but I think it was. But as it was the first type of missile used in this conflict, it's probably more for testing. We've been going through different batches on what wave is this, wave 11 or wave 12. So I anticipate we're going to be seeing a lot more of newer technology, which, if they had, I wouldn't be surprised if when they figure out the bugs, they launch multitudes of these.
Oh, so you think basically they launched one just to test it out, see how it goes, what happens, and then use that for the main launch of like a significantly number of
that would be my guess. And I guess because you could see the chemtrail like exhaust in the air, so this is clearly using a different type of combustion, different type of fuel source, which leaves a trace like that.
It also has a bigger payload, 1,800 kilometers and well over 2,000 kilometers of range, up to 2,500 kilometers. So it can hit anything in Israel.
Sure. So I guess the different fuel type would allow it to carry heavier payloads. So different fuel types have different efficiencies. So I'd be interested to find out more about this.
It was tested on January 29, 2017. It flew about 950 kilometers, and they have four versions of it. The Khaibar is considered the fourth version, so it's been used before. I don't know if this one is necessarily a test. I think it hasn't been used.
Different, won't it? If it's been used before as a test, is different to like using.
But it hasn't been used in battle. Yeah, it hasn't been used in
Israeli defense as well. And it can also be used in battle before, but specifically Israeli defense as well. So there'll be a multi-layered reason why they would send one just to test it out. Even if it is taken down by the Israeli defense, it gives them like a real data and information to actually, when they do launch the kind of plethora of attacks.
I actually just heard somebody say, did Iran just fire a satellite killer? So was that what I'm going to try to find out more about that. That would change the game immensely.
Well, you know that they were saying that there was going to be something huge that happens today. I don't know what it was, but they said that a few times yesterday.
We were talking about that yesterday.
Anti-NSA, when you say satellite killer, are you talking about the Khorramshahr, or are you talking about something else?
I'm talking about, I'm getting sources that Iran just fire a satellite killer. So I'm trying to find out some more detail if they're referring to that new rocket launch. And as for the event that's going to happen, remember they released that after 12 a.m. last night. So that would place that big event within the next hours. I kind of, off my hip, I was predicting, what if it was an atmospheric EMP detonation, which would go with their policy of not having mass casualty nuclear bombs, but yet it would demonstrate their nuclear prowess and it would cause great destruction. Nobody knows for sure how targeted EMP events could be, especially from atmospheric heights, but that would cause immense destruction to Israel without a huge weapon of mass destruction event and casualty event. So that's what my own personal prediction is. And if that was a satellite killer and that was a demonstration more to the people watching in the know, then I wouldn't be surprised if there's an atmospheric detonation coming up.
Very late, you know? I said it's very late to be talking. We may meet, I don't know, there's a big difference between now and a week ago, right? Big difference.
What do you say to the supreme leader of Iran says that they will not
Say good luck.
What is the end game?
Say it? It's already run out. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Yeah, they had 60 days and a big, 60 days, plenty of time. And they made a mistake. Honestly, they made a mistake. Their country's in ruins. So many people are dead that shouldn't be dead. It's a very sad thing.
Some of the people in the base don't want a long-term war. They're afraid that we're going to get into a long-term war.
We're not looking for a long-term war. We're looking, I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
That's it. I'm not looking long-term, short-term. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I've been saying it as a civilian who got a lot of publicity. People would cover it. Very simply, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. It's not a question of anything else. And if you did, you wouldn't have much of a country because they would use it on us and they'd use it on other people and there'd be a terror all over the world.
What gave you the idea to do this?
I've had it for a long time. The first time I had it, but you guys were after me. I said I had to focus. I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter. It's a big difference. Big difference.
Okay, so Trump just said we're hitting Iran. Okay, so let's just get that part straight. I'm going to hit the big Chinese ballot stolen election coming up. But first, I want to get to what's really going on here and what's about to go down. When we come back, stay with us. I'm Alex Jones. Share the live feed at Real Alex Jones on X, at Infowars.com/show. You are the Paul Revere's.
But then we have to see
yeah.
because apparently a missile was taken out by the Israelis. So the question is that did they take it out? Was it this a test? Like there's many question marks.
Saying between 5 to 7 missiles were launched. So it's more than one missile was launched. So they may have caught a different missile. We don't know which one. What I can tell you is there's like 200 different Israeli media agencies. None of them can even agree on how many missiles have been sent from Iran directly. So there's going to be a lot of misinformation spewed. Some of them will correct it, some of them won't. So again, take everything at face value for now, grain of salt.
And so what he is saying in that video that Suleiman just put up, that they are using a sort of a MIRV, M-I-R-V.
Sully, I just sent you something, but that was like from an hour ago. Okay, breaking. Oh, that's another warning that nobody better interfere. That's so crazy. Anyway, apparently an hour ago they were, IRGC gave a warning for occupied Palestine, Haifa, for them to evacuate. I'm trying to find, there was one of these news, Tehran news centers were showing, they were like showing the, you know what? It was when we were waiting for the video. That's what it was. They were like showing this over and over again. I don't know if you saw it too, Casey, where they were showing this specific missile, like they pulled it out. I wonder if that was the one.
I don't think I saw it.
I agree with Truth. Like even in the criminal enterprise, like drug game and everything, it's a common practice, and I would bet it's used in warfare too, to send like a dummy or a patsy missile, or like you send a mule head that you expect to get caught. You send 5 through, 4 get caught, one goes through. You know.
I think the big question is, number one, was that missile actually truly intercepted, or did those, if it did have multiple warheads inside, was it a successful delivery? We can't really tell if that was intercepted or if
Also,
interception is disinfo. But hold on a second. And if it is a multiple warhead missile and it's not hypersonic, there's a good chance it's going to be on a slower trajectory, so it may be easier to shoot those down. So I think that the big question is, was it slow and shot down, or did it actually hit its target as it?
Do I think Trump wants to preemptively start a nuclear war? No. Do I think he's overall a great president? Yes. Do I think he thinks he's making the right decision over Iran and gave him 60 days to give the program up? Yes. But if you look at everything behind the scenes and what's gone on, Trump earlier today said he doesn't want regime change. I played the clip earlier. He just doesn't want them to have a bomb. Well, Netanyahu is refusing to even negotiate and says they want regime change. And if you tune into Fox News, that's all they're saying is, hey, this is regime change. The mullahs are unpopular. The Iranian people don't like them. This is going to be great. Yeah, a lot of them don't like them. But will they be able to topple them? And then once the rebel forces are getting annihilated, in many scenarios they will, then, oh, it'll be so easy for us to just back them with airstrikes. And then it's, oh, boots on the ground. And then Pakistan was saying they've got to get ready for war with Israel. Made a lot of escalatory statements. Now, the head of their army has been here personally today, just had lunch with Trump. We're waiting to see the outcome of that. I don't know, do they have a press conference? Probably not. And then how does this affect the Ukraine-Russia war and China and Taiwan? And the Iranians say they're going to hit U.S. bases if the U.S. hits their bases. And then the U.S. says, if you do that, we'll obliterate you. The Iranians for 2 days have turned off the internet, so their population can't be coordinated for uprisings by the Israelis and others. But instead, Musk has turned on Starlink to them, so the resistance can form and carry out its operations. This is a runaway train. And it's not just taking away their nuclear program. And you got the mullahs saying, we will nuke Israel, we will kill you, we will destroy you. You can see why Israel doesn't like that. But then you got to look at what Israel's been involved in and putting radical jihadis in everywhere they can. We've got the Ayatollah. The Zionist regime's malicious attack on our country took place at a time when Iran officials were indirectly engaging in negotiations with the U.S. side. There was no indication on the part of Iran that signaled a military move. And the White House has bragged about that. Oh, we sucker punched them. It was already suspected the U.S. was involved in the malicious move carried out by the Zionist regime. But considering their recent remarks, this said it's too late. So all the forces said it's too late. So all the forces are in the final positioning stages.
yesterday, the Quds also did another operation today and took out a staff sergeant in Gaza just now. So it looks like the resistance is on all fronts to Israel today.
There is, I don't know the word in English, Tatin Alim, which is like the Israeli is not allowing anyone to take any kind of picture in Tel Aviv or any.
Media blackout, brother. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. This is the word.
Yeah, the media blackout. We definitely covered it.
No,
Listen, I want to-
I'm talking.
The
I'm talking about
Iranians
now.
are going to attack the Nimitz. I bet we've got listeners that have family on there. I feel sorry for you. Very good chance the Nimitz gets hit. I don't think it's going to sink. Those things are tough. Those aircraft carriers are designed to be able to sustain an indirect hit by a hydrogen bomb. But I assure you, a lot of people, if this happens, are going to get killed on it. The ship may still be there, but the people won't be. So, and then the American people are going to go into a total rage when the emotion kicks in. And the Iranians are very sophisticated in ways, but also their leadership isn't even really Iranian. They're Shiite royalty, inbred from Muhammad. They're nuts. And you'd think when the U.S. hits their bases today, they'd be smart, or tomorrow, or the next day. They'd be smart and not respond. No, they're going to hit. And they've said they're going to hit our ships and our interest in the Suez Canal and our bases. And then it is off to the races. This is a really bad deal. Now, here is Tucker Carlson, and they've now released the full interview with Senator Ted Cruz, who's good on domestic issues, always been a neocon, war hawk, Looney Tune. And it's always stunning how little some of these neocons know about geopolitical issues. And then there's some other clips as well we've got where he doesn't care that Israel's spying on us. And he also admits, oh, we're at war. I mean, through Israel. Oh, yeah, exactly. So then I want to go to Colonel McGregor, who's been in these briefings and been in these meetings with Trump trying to bring sanity to him with Tucker. And Trump's like very resigned. Well, I don't want this, but if they don't, this is a few weeks ago, we're just going to have to hit them. And now Trump's like, well, okay, they wouldn't do the deal. And that's the thing with Trump. He tells you there's a deal, and then he follows through. That's why even if countries don't like his policies, they respect it because the U.S. has been so deceptive for decades, really 40 years. Trump's a straight shooter, and he knows that he's got to follow through on this, and I don't think that's a good thing. I'm just saying I know Trump. So here is Tucker with Senator Cruz, and then here's Colonel McGregor on Trump.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population. At all? No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because,
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not
okay.
even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
claims anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
Israel.
Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
Does Mossad share all of its intelligence with us?
Oh, probably not, but they share a lot. We don't share all of our intelligence with them, but we share a lot. It's a close alliance.
Do they spy domestically in the United States?
Oh, they probably do, and we do as well. And friends and allies spy on each other. And I assume all of our allies spy on us.
And that's okay with you?
You know what? One of the things about being a conservative is that you're not naive and utopian. You don't think humans are all... Part of the reason socialism doesn't work is the mantra from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs doesn't work. As a conservative, I assume people act in their rational self-interest.
So it's conservative to pay people to spy on you?
It's conservative to recognize that human beings act in their own self-interest, and every one of our friends spies on us, and I'm not...
Do you like it? That's my question. I'm not asking whether they have motive to do it. Of course they do. I understand that, and
by the way,
I'm not mad at them, but you're an American lawmaker, so I just want to know, hold on, I want to know your attitude. Yeah. You said that your guiding principle, in fact, the only principle, the only criterion.
I said guiding, the overwhelming, I wouldn't say only.
Is it in America's interest? Is it in America's interest for Israel to spy on us, including on the president?
It is in America's interest to be closely allied with Israel because we get huge benefits for it. And you want to see the clearest...
But I just want to stop on the spying for a second. That it takes place, as you know, and including on the president of the United States and several precedents. And I just want to know if that's okay and why is it okay? Wouldn't an American lawmaker say to a client state, you're not allowed to spy on us? I'm sorry. I know why you want to. I'm not mad at you, but you're not allowed to.
Sure.
And I don't care for it. I don't want to be spied on by you. Is that... It's kind of weird not to say that, but you don't seem able to say that.
And you know what spying really means. It doesn't just mean breaking into somebody's computer remotely or tapping their phone. That's one part of it. It means sex operatives. If a guy likes women, pedophiles, Jeffrey Epstein. It means getting into the phones of Hegseth and people and planting stuff and giving it to Jeffrey Goldberg. And they had to get rid of Waltz, the individual that was involved in that. I mean, it means all the things Israel does and the lawfare and the censorship and the manipulating our policies and using dirt on politicians for blackmail. So what Ted Cruz just said there is treasonous.